Alright guys, welcome back to some simple technical analysis for today. And I have to preface this video by saying I'm still long-term bullish. I mean, let's just look at the BLX real quick. Now the BLX has data from, all the way back towards, 2013, I believe. So this is the week, let's just go to the monthly chart, fuck it. It has data, yeah, from all the way from 2010, okay? I am still very, very heavily bullish on Bitcoin on a long term. However, yes, in the short term, we can see some downside, and it's a higher chance of us seeing downside than upside, just because look how many months that we've been going green, right? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 8 months of going green, and there's a solid 6 months of just green only, like up only market, okay? So, like I said multiple times, it's not crazy if we decide to have a, 2, 3, 4 months of red, sideways and red, okay? Obviously, if you keep getting large red candles like this, it's not going to be good, but they should narrow down and the volatility should subside just for a little bit as we go on. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to preface the video by saying I am heavily, heavily still bullish long term, okay? Like I said, look at this chart. I mean, there's no reason not to be bullish on this chart. But there are times when we have to take a break, right? When we have to take a break from a huge rally, okay? That's very typical of Bitcoin. So, fundamentals, everything's the same thing as the Bitcoin you fell in love with last year is still the same. The Bitcoin I fell in love with back in 2017, still the same. Price, yeah, price will change. Technicals will change. That's why I said I don't care if the price has to cool down for a couple months. I am 100% fine with that. If you're gonna let me buy at a discount, thank you, thank you. I love you. All right, so let's get back to the more shorter time frames. This is the daily time frame, and as you can see, we did fail to close above the 200 simple moving average, 200 daily simple moving average up here, this red line, and consequently, that shot to move down towards even below our 10 simple moving average, which we will potentially close underneath of today. It's not a doom and gloom sign. It's just saying that for now, a lot of things are painting short-term bearish, And if you want to get all voodoo, if some of you guys love fucking TA, and I know there's a voodoo magic stuff and all, but let's just point out where the resistance is, the short immediate resistance level for us, right? Everyone knows it's the 46,000. It's not the 40,600, right? That's one of the levels we have to keep an eye out for. And if you can tell, you can't really tell through what I'm drawing here, but you can almost see a head and shoulders pattern being formed. Now, like I said many times before, a lot of these head and shoulders, so many times in a bull market, everything can look like a head and shoulders. I can promise you that, right? A lot of things can look like a head and shoulders. And most of the time, these do not play out, right? But they're great content because everyone loves talking about them. They're going to be the reversal points of a market, and we're all just going to die after this pattern plays out, right? So yeah, so a potential head and shoulders forming doesn't mean it has to play out, but the validation level or the level where it would play out per se, if we end up breaking the 30,000 level, oh, it's gonna get disgusting. If you're bullish, it's gonna get disgusting. If you're bearish, you're gonna love this. Because potentially the targets are around 20,000 or a little bit under 20,000. If the head and shoulders does play out, you know, like I said, the validation level is if we start closing underneath 30,000 and creating lower lows, oh boy, it's gonna come smack you right in the face. But it's not gonna happen overnight, okay? It's gonna take a while for this pattern to play out. And as I said, longer term time frames patterns play out, more consistently because there's more data that drives them than say like a 5 minute, right? So something to keep an eye out if you're a pattern person. Like I said, head and shoulders. Typically, these are reversal patterns, but like I said, in a bull market, everything can pretty much look at head and shoulders. Okay, so I mean, if we scroll back the past 6 months, I've seen head and shoulders being called pretty much every other week. All right, so take it with a grain of salt. This is what you can look for, but like I said, the absolute doom. Oh my God, the world is ending. depending on what side you're on. If you're a bull, if you're a bear. If you're a bear, you're gonna love this pattern if it does break out because you'll be able to buy a bit cheaper, right? I think it's always good to be a mix of both. You don't always want to be bullish. You don't always want to be bearish. It's going to be a mix of both. All right, so let's take these off for a bit because I don't like the way they look anyway. All right, so let's just zoom into the 4-hour. Not much has really changed. Like I said, we did have an inverse head and shoulder. I'll just paint it again for you guys. So it's the opposite of a head and shoulder. It's just inverted, right? So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It did fail to break out. Like I said, if it was going to break out, it should have broke out here. The neckline for that would have been right here, right? So we failed to break the neckline, and look what happens. It just invalidates. So basically, if I flip my chart over and we went to the daily, it almost looks like that if we went the opposite way, right? If we did not break under 30,000 and we just made a higher low, it would look just like this. You have to like flip your head around, but yeah, it looks almost inverted, right? So yeah, maybe just this video should be called Head and Shoulders ? So there's not too much that has changed. I kind of want to talk about other things because Bitcoin can get boring. Right now we're basically around the 36,000 level. It's fighting there. Last time we talked, it was around 38,000, I believe. 38,000. So we're a few thousand under. Like I said, today we're down almost 6-7%, depending on how you look at it. It's boring for us, but I mean, if this ever happened in Dow Jones, S&P 500, Nasdaq, these guys would be screaming, right? Down 7%, those guys would be like, oh my god, this is Armageddon, this is a crash, right? So I want to take a look at Matic, right? Some of you guys have asked me about Matic, and wow. So on a day, let's just look at a daily time frame for most of these. I don't want to get too degen and look at 4 hours, right? So if you're bullish on something and you see this type of chart with these moving averages in these positions, as you can tell, look at all the moving averages. They're all painting positive slopes, right? A little bit downside for the white one, but that's fine. It's going to be the most sensitive one. But all these are going to act as your support levels in a bull market, in a bull trend, okay? And if you can see, if you look at Bitcoin, right? We shattered through all these moving averages, all right? But if you can see back in the past when we were going up, these levels were acting as support levels, right? The green band, yellow band hit multiple times on a daily time frame. Blue band hitting multiple, and if you can tell, once you protrude or break through one of these levels, it's a high chance that you break towards the next levels, right? And you can see once we broke through the green, we went to the cyan, broke the cyan, we went into the purple, broke the purple, we went into the red, right? So it's all constructive, right? And as you can tell with Matic, even on his Bitcoin chart, it's gonna look very similar, right? We're above all these moving averages. So this is a very strong bullish chart. However, I'm not calling a top here, but it's gonna depend highly on what Bitcoin does. Right? If Bitcoin starts dropping rapidly, oh, you can bet that Matic will do the same thing, right? When Bitcoin was hitting 30,000s, Matic went all the way down to 74 cents, right? Most alts, here's the key trade of an alt. They're not gonna like decouple from Bitcoin right now, and most of them will end up following Bitcoin eventually, right? So Matic was $2 just up here, right? And next thing you know, when Bitcoin drops, wow, Bitcoin went just went down to 29.7 on Coinbase, and then you can see what happened in Matic. Sorry, that's Ethereum. Yeah, you can see what happened in Matic. It went down to 74 cents, right? Great opportunity to buy, but just because it's an altcoin doesn't mean it's that special. All alts, pretty much follow the same pattern. Bitcoin dips, you're coming down with me too, and they're usually going to come down a lot harder, right? So wow, this is an incredible chart, right? I mean, we're above all the moving averages right now. We did wick down to the white today, but we went up above it, and wow, I mean, this is a great chart. All moving averages are positive. Price is above all of them. I mean, what more could you ask for, right? So, I mean, not much to go with today, and do you keep in mind we are going to the weekend, and usually on the weekends, I wouldn't say usually, but all the times on the weekends, liquidity will be lower. The order books will be thinner. In other words, not a little amount, but if you need 100 Bitcoins to move a price in one direction, on the weekend, you might only need 25, right? It doesn't take much to move the markets on a weekend compared to on the weekdays. On the weekdays, there's a lot more liquidity. There's a lot more people involved in trading. Orders are flying through. A lot of things slow down on a weekend, so it makes it ripe for fuckery. I don't know how else to put it. People clowning around, whatever, right? So the past 4 weekends, we have seen Bitcoin not do so well, and there have been some bleeding, some downside. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, just because we have 4 data points doesn't mean this weekend has to be a red weekend. But for you guys short-term traders out there, be careful. The market is very choppy and very sideways. It's quite hard for even the best traders to make some money here. But sometimes the best trade is not to make a trade at all. So keep that in mind. You don't have to always make a trade. But that's pretty much all I have for today. I hope you guys have a good weekend and be safe out there. Don't make stupid mistakes, and just be calm. We're probably gonna go sideways for a couple months. I hate to say it. Sideways down, maybe sideways up, whatever, right? Ping pong around. But yeah, you guys take care, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.